Hello everybody, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. And yes, before I actually go over anything, I want to mention that you're not the only one with this interface. So if you see this interface, definitely don't worry, this is actually part of the huge update that A-Team had. So I wouldn't say huge, but it's part of the update that A-Team had. So without further ado, let's actually get to the spawn first. Since I'm going to be talking about the spawn, I want to bring that up. Anyways, going off from there, we got new monsters and we got new gear in this spawn right here. And right here we have Smiling Maiden Guinevere. She doesn't have any awakening, so there's no reason to go over her in the abilities above or whatever. So right here I'll talk about her ability. She doesn't do much damage. She only attacks once for 260. It's guaranteed to hit, it looks like. It doesn't say the success value at all, so it must mean it's at 100. It looks like it. Anyways, she increases the stats of all allies by 40%, increases cost recovery speed, increases usage gains, and casts frenzy on your character for 60 seconds. This right here, for a treasure spawn, is definitely not worth the monster at all. If you're thinking of going for this monster, I really don't recommend it. I'm not saying the monster is bad, but the monster is really overpriced for what she does, at least nowadays. If you're really looking for 36 costs, we got a recommended pack. I mean, not 36 costs, but if you're looking for 36 awakening material, you could probably get it for like 5 times cheaper in here. Not kidding you, because it's a treasure spawn again, and you might have to get 10k medals. So if you get her, and the medal rate is not that fair at all. So really, I actually don't recommend this spawn really at all, to be fairly honest. As you can see, the medal rate right there is not fair. And I'll show you what they have in the exchange. But pretty much, as you can see how it works, all these abilities are actually pretty common across the board of monsters. In fact, the monsters that people have, that's right, the monsters we have been obtaining from the step up spawn and the monster spawn, and not monster spawn, but special spawn, and whatever. All these types of monsters pretty much carry abilities and buffs is similar to these. So honestly, you can grab 2 different monsters that work better for cost, plus have extra, and work better for usage gouge gains, plus have extra, and do a better combo of those than just single-handedly using her. And in fact, the funny thing about it is, as you've seen, the best ability she actually has in the whole thing is increased cost recovery speed and usage gouge gains. Because right there, those two really mix well with each other, because attacking increases use and gouge, and as you attack, you get use and gouge. The use and gouge gains will go up for each attack. So those right there are a nasty combo. But literally, this combo dates back to 29 costs. And yes, by 29 costs, I'm talking about the stellar gods. So literally, like, this has been the thing for like a long time in Unison League. That's why I really don't recommend going for this monster. If you manage, you can't help yourself, you do the treasure spawn, you try it out or something, you get the scroll, congrats. I would keep it still if I were you until up to a certain point. Maybe you have a 36 cost that's better or something. But anyways, I definitely wouldn't just get rid of the monster. The monster's not garbage, it's just not worth the price that she has in her in the treasure spawn for the ability she has. It's just not worth it. It's too expensive, to be fairly honest. Good monster, but way too expensive to actually grab in here. It's definitely not worth the hassle whatsoever, because with her ability, she's a common monster. Anyways, going on from there, the gear itself, it's very complex gear. For a light element, it's actually a little based on fire, at least the weapons. The armor is nearly based on fire completely. But how it works is, as you can see in any of the exclusive skills they have, the ability power scales with light elemental attack value of gear you have equipped. That is very good. Skill activation rate is boosted against dark enemies. Super good ability right there when you have to fight either time or dark enemies, because this is going to really help you out. And yes, I think A-Team forgot to add time. But anyways, going on from there, it's a really good ability when it comes to dark, but the issue is, like, the skill that they have in here, like the move that replaces attack, it's based on literally fire element. You can see right there, fire element, literally fire elemental, It doesn't really make any sense to me. Fire elemental, everything's fire elemental. It's really weird. So the skill's good, but the ability, it does damage, but like honestly, if they made this a little more light orientated, it would definitely be like really good light gear. But this is really split because of that, and it's not just because of that. The armor as well is really hypocritical to its skill set. Pretty much what it does, it says fire bulwark, so right there it tells you chance to reduce physical and magical damage taken. Damage reduction effect scales with the fire elemental defense gear you have equipped, and that's the issue right there. Works against wind enemies, and it's light. In no form, shape, way, or fashion is this fire. It says it right here. It is the light element. Now, if they made a misprint and they actually change everything to fire, then yeah, this stuff's absolutely worth it. This is deadly fire elemental gear. So if you're fighting any type of wind enemy, they're gonna get destroyed. But this is light, and it's really split, to be fairly honest, between fire element and light element, and it's not a good thing to split them in between, because you could really get the full effect when it comes to at least fire right now. I think they have this for a few more elemental pieces and sets. I'm not exactly sure, but this is really split. So they're good. They offer stats, but honestly, they could make better elemental gear, to be fairly honest. The skill is not going to be helpful whatsoever under its elements, so it's kind of a useless skill to, I wouldn't say it's completely useless, but it's kind of a useless skill to have. It's very split, and you're just destroying performance, to be fairly honest, overall when it comes to elemental potential, if you're looking for elemental potential, because it's split between fire and light for some reason. So pretty much the monsters and the gear are not worth it, and I definitely do not recommend doing a treasure spawn for the SSR, because the rates for the SSRs are not worth it. So what about the metal exchange? As you can see in the metal exchange here, they offer the star stuff, Chief Fire, and then the Cybercat stuff. So pretty much it's pretty common stuff you could find in treasure spawns pretty dang often, to be fairly honest. Now, I'm not exactly sure if Chief Fire is usually here. Maybe you want it for the cosmetics, but the Chief Fire and the Esmeralda stuff literally are nearly the same exact thing. So the only thing I can really talk about right here is the Sporty Cat, because you usually see the Chief Fire, the Esmeralda and other treasure metal exchanges, and then they replace it with the Chief Fire, and they literally do the same thing. Literally both 32 cost with ability that increases cost, so that way you can do more with your moves. But these have fatal testaments, so if you're not an archer, or perhaps you are an archer, but you really want to free up some of your weapon slots to try out more skills to help increase your DPS, these would be recommended as for right now, because they offer Fatal Testament. Fatal Testament is one of the most deadliest skills in the game. It actually 100%, once it goes off, it pretty much guarantees a crit. Now, the rates for this really vary. I'm not going to say this has the greatest proc rate or anything. I'm not going to say the proc rate's dead, to be fairly honest. But if you do manage to activate this, it counts as a critical hit. So that's why these are pretty dang good. And that's pretty much all I really got to talk about for the spawn, it looks like. I can't really recommend it for the rates. I can't recommend the feature gear. The medals are pretty dang low, so I don't recommend it at all. And they don't offer anything really too much special in the metal exchange. So yeah, I can't really recommend this treasure spawn at all under any circumstance. Thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, and I hope this helped out. This is the AzureWrath, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.